Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Dylan stood, his movements graceful and fluid as he made his way to the closet. With a flourish, he threw open the doors, revealing a rainbow of fabrics and textures. Juniper let out a low whistle, her eyes widening as she took in the array of dresses, skirts, and blouses. Dylan, this is impressive. I had no idea you had such a collection. Dylan's smile was proud, if a little sheepish. I may have gone a little overboard, but in my defense, online shopping is very addictive. Juniper laughed, her fingers already reaching out to touch the soft silks and delicate lace. I can see that, and I can also see that you have excellent taste. These pieces are gorgeous. Dylan's cheeks flushed with pleasure at the compliment. Thank you. I try to choose things that make me feel good, things that express who I am on the inside. Juniper nodded, her expression thoughtful. I can see that. It's like each piece is a little window into your soul, a reflection of the different facets of your personality. Dylan's eyes widened, surprised and touched by Juniper's insight. That's exactly it. I never thought of it that way before, but you're right. Each outfit is like a different version of me, a way to explore and express different parts of myself. Juniper's smile was soft and understanding. And that's a beautiful thing, Dylan. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Dylan's heart swelled with gratitude, and he felt a sudden, overwhelming urge to hug his roommate. Acting on impulse, he stepped forward and wrapped his arms around Juniper, pulling her into a tight embrace. Juniper stiffened for a moment, surprised by the sudden contact. But then she relaxed, her own arms coming up to encircle Dylan's waist. They stood like that for a long moment, the silence between them filled with the unspoken words of friendship and acceptance. When they finally pulled apart, both of their eyes were shining with unshed tears. Thank you, Dylan whispered, his voice thick with emotion. For everything. Juniper's smile was watery but genuine. Anytime? That's what friends are for. Dylan nodded, his own smile mirroring hers. Friends, I like the sound of that. Me too, Juniper said, her voice soft and sincere. Now, let's see what other treasures you've got hidden in this closet of yours. I have a feeling we're going to be here a while. Dylan laughed, the sound bright and joyful. I have a feeling you're right. But I can't think of anyone I'd rather spend the time with. And with that, they dove into the depths of Dylan's wardrobe, their laughter and chatter filling the room as they explored the many facets of Dylan's identity, one outfit at a time. As they sorted through the array of garments, Juniper's eyes kept being drawn to one piece in particular, a stunning floor-length gown in a deep, rich shade of emerald green. The fabric was soft and luxurious, with a subtle sheen that caught the light as Dylan moved it. Dylan, Juniper breathed, her voice hushed with awe. This dress, it's incredible. Where did you get it? Dylan's smile was soft and nostalgic. It was my mother's. She wore it to a charity gala years ago, and I remember thinking she looked like a princess. When she passed away, it was one of the few things of hers that I kept. Juniper's heart clenched at the mention of Dylan's mother, and she reached out to give his hand a gentle squeeze. It's beautiful, and I'm sure it would look stunning on you. Dylan's eyes widened, and he looked at Juniper with a mixture of surprise and hesitation. You think so? I've never actually tried it on. It always felt too special. Juniper's smile was encouraging. I know so. And what better occasion to wear it than our fabulous party? It's time to let that dress see the light of day again. Dylan's expression was thoughtful, and he ran his fingers over the soft fabric as if drawing strength from its touch. You're right, it's time, and I can't think of a better way to honor my mother's memory than by wearing it and feeling beautiful. Juniper's grin was wide and excited. That's the spirit. Now let's see what else we can find to go with it. I'm thinking some killer heels and a statement necklace. Dylan laughed, caught up in Juniper's enthusiasm. I like the way you think, but let's not get too carried away. I still want to be able to walk by the end of the night. Juniper waved a dismissive hand. Details. We'll find a way to make it work, even if I have to carry you around on my back. Dylan's laughter was loud and genuine, and he shook his head in amusement. I'd like to see you try, but I appreciate the sentiment. As they continued to rifle through the closet, pulling out pieces and holding them up for inspection, Dylan felt a sense of peace settle over him. Here, in this moment, with Juniper by his side, he felt truly seen and accepted for who he was. It was a feeling he'd never experienced before, and it filled him with a warmth that spread from his heart to the tips of his toes. Hey, he said, his voice soft and sincere. I just wanted to say thank you again for being so understanding and supportive. It means more to me than you could ever know. Juniper's smile was gentle and filled with affection. You never have to thank me for that, Dylan. It's what friends do, and I'm honored to be yours. Dylan's eyes shone with unshed tears, and he blinked rapidly to clear them. I'm honored to be yours too, and I promise from now on, no more secrets. You'll know everything there is to know about me. Juniper's grin turned mischievous. Everything? Even the embarrassing stuff? Like that time you got your head stuck in the staircase railing? Dylan groaned, his cheeks flushing with embarrassment. Okay, maybe not everything. Some things are better left in the past. Juniper laughed, the sound bright and carefree. Fair enough, but just know that I'm here for all of it. The good, the bad, and the stuck in a railing. Dylan's smile was grateful, and he felt a rush of affection for the girl standing before him. I know, and I'm here for you too. Always. With those words, they turned back to the task at hand, their hearts lighter and their bond stronger than ever before. And as they planned and plotted, their excitement for the upcoming party growing with each passing minute, Dylan knew that he had found something truly special, a friend who would stand by him through thick and thin, no matter what the future held. The night of the party arrived, and Dylan stood in front of the mirror, his heart racing with a mixture of excitement and nerves. The emerald gown hugged his curves in all the right places, the fabric shimmering under the soft glow of the bedroom light. Juniper had worked her magic, styling his hair into soft, cascading waves and applying his makeup with a skilled and steady hand. The result was breathtaking. Dylan hardly recognized himself in the reflection. Wow, Juniper said, stepping back to admire her handiwork. Dylan, you look incredible, like a Hollywood starlet from the golden age of cinema. Dylan's smile was shy, but pleased. You think so? I feel a little like I'm playing dress-up. Juniper shook her head, her expression serious. No, Dylan, this isn't dress-up. This is you showing the world who you truly are. And trust me, the world is going to love it. Dylan's heart swelled with gratitude, and he felt a sudden, overwhelming urge to hug his friend. Acting on impulse, he stepped forward and wrapped his arms around Juniper, pulling her into a tight embrace. Juniper hugged him back, her own eyes shining with emotion. I'm so proud of you, Dylan, and I know your mom would be too. Dylan's breath hitched at the mention of his mother, and he felt a single tear slip down his cheek. Thank you, Juniper, for everything. I couldn't have done this without you. Juniper pulled back, her smile soft and understanding. Yes, you could have. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for, Dylan. But I'm glad I could be here to support you. Dylan nodded, taking a deep, steadying breath. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Together, they made their way out of the bedroom and into the living room, where the party was already in full swing. The room had been transformed, with twinkling lights and colorful streamers hanging from the ceiling. Music pulsed through the speakers, and the air was filled with the chatter and laughter of their friends. As they stepped into the room, a hush fell over the crowd. All eyes turned to Dylan, taking in his stunning appearance with a mixture of surprise and admiration. For a moment, Dylan felt a flicker of fear. What if they didn't accept him? What if they laughed or turned away in disgust? But then, as if sensing his unease, Juniper gave his hand a reassuring squeeze. "You've got this," she whispered, her voice filled with confidence and support. Dylan nodded, squaring his shoulders and lifting his chin. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, ready to face whatever the night had in store. To his surprise and delight, he was met with a chorus of compliments and cheers. His friends surrounded him, their faces filled with warmth and acceptance. "Dylan, you look amazing," his friend Sarah exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. "That dress is everything." "Seriously, dude," his friend Mark chimed in, his grin wide and genuine. "You're putting the rest of us to shame. I need to step up my fashion game." Dylan felt a rush of relief and joy wash over him, and he laughed, the sound bright and carefree. "Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without Juniper's help." Juniper beamed, her own face flushed with pride and happiness. "I just brought out what was already there. Dylan's the real star of the show." As the party continued, Dylan found himself swept up in the excitement and energy of the room. He danced and laughed, feeling lighter and freer than he ever had before. And then, just when he thought the night couldn't get any better, he saw a familiar face across the room. It was Alex, the cute barista from the coffee shop, looking stunning in a fitted blazer and slacks. Their eyes met, and Dylan felt a jolt of electricity run through him. With a deep breath, he excused himself from his friends and made his way over to where Alex was standing. "Hi," he said, his voice soft and slightly breathless. "I'm so glad you could make it." Alex's smile was warm and inviting. "I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Especially not after seeing how incredible you look." Dylan felt a blush creep up his cheeks, and he ducked his head, suddenly shy. "Thank you. I was nervous about wearing this, but Juniper convinced me to go for it." Alex's expression softened, and he reached out to take Dylan's hand in his own. "She was right to do so. You look stunning, Dylan. And more importantly, you look happy, like you're finally allowing yourself to be who you truly are." Dylan's heart raced at the contact, and he felt a warmth spread through his chest. "I am happy. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm not hiding anymore. And it's all thanks to Juniper and to you." Alex's eyebrows raised in surprise. "Me? What did I do?" Dylan's smile was shy but genuine. "You saw me, the real me, even before I was ready to show it to the world. And you didn't judge or turn away. You just accepted me for who I am." Alex's expression was tender, and he gave Dylan's hand a gentle squeeze. "Of course I did. How could I not? You're an incredible person, Dylan, inside and out." Dylan felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes, and he blinked them away, not wanting to ruin his carefully applied makeup. "Thank you, Alex. That means more to me than you could ever know." Alex's smile was soft and understanding. "You're welcome. And for the record, I think you're incredible too." Dylan's heart soared, and he felt a giddy rush of excitement. Was this really happening? Was Alex, the guy he'd been crushing on for months, actually flirting with him? As if reading his mind, Alex's grin turned playful. "So, Dylan, would you like to dance with me?" Dylan's eyes widened, and for a moment he was speechless. But then, with a burst of courage, he nodded. "I'd love to." Hand in hand, they made their way to the center of the room, where their friends had cleared a space for dancing. As the music swelled around them, Alex pulled Dylan close, his hands resting gently on his waist. Dylan's breath caught in his throat, and he felt a shiver run down his spine. He'd never been this close to Alex before, and the sensation was both thrilling and terrifying. But as they began to move together, their bodies swaying in perfect sync, Dylan felt his nerves melt away. This felt right, like he was exactly where he was meant to be. They danced for what felt like hours, lost in the music and in each other. And when the song finally came to an end, they stood there, breathless and flushed, their eyes locked on each other. "Dylan, Alex said, his voice soft and slightly hoarse. I know this might be sudden, but I have to ask. Would you like to go out with me sometime? On a real date? Dylan's heart skipped a beat, and for a moment, he couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. But then, with a smile that lit up his entire face, he nodded. Yes, I would love that. Alex's grin was wide and joyful, and he pulled Dylan into a tight hug. Great, how about next Friday? I know a little Italian place that I think you'll love. Dylan nodded, his own smile matching Alex's in its brilliance. That sounds perfect. As they separated, Dylan caught sight of Juniper across the room. She was watching them with a knowing smile, her eyes sparkling with happiness and pride. Dylan mouthed a silent thank you in her direction, and she responded with a wink and a thumbs up. With a contented sigh, Dylan turned back to Alex, ready to lose himself in the magic of the night once more. As the party began to wind down, Dylan found himself reluctant to let the evening end. He'd had the time of his life, dancing and laughing with his friends and basking in the glow of Alex's attention. But as the last of the guests began to trickle out the door, he knew it was time to face reality once more. With a sigh, he made his way over to where Juniper was perched on the couch, her shoes kicked off and her feet tucked up underneath her. Hey, he said, plopping down beside her with a contented smile. Have I told you lately how much I adore you? Juniper grinned, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Not in the last 5 minutes, no, but I could stand to hear it again. Dylan laughed, leaning over to press a quick kiss to her cheek. Well, I do. Adore you, that is. And I couldn't have done any of this without you. Juniper's expression softened, and she reached out to take Dylan's hand in her own. You could have. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for, Dylan. But I'm glad I could be here to support you. Dylan nodded, his throat suddenly tight with emotion. Me too. And not just tonight. Ever since we met, you've been there for me in ways I never could have imagined. You're more than just my roommate, Juniper. You're my best friend. Juniper's eyes shone with unshed tears, and she pulled Dylan into a tight hug. And you're mine. I love you, Dylan, and I'm so proud of you. They stayed like that for a long moment, holding each other close as the last of the party's energy faded away. When they finally separated, Juniper's expression turned sly. So, you and Alex, huh? Spill the tea, girlfriend. I want all the details. Dylan laughed, his cheeks flushing with a mixture of embarrassment and excitement. There's not much to tell. We danced, we talked, and he asked me out on a date. That's it. Juniper's eyebrows raised in disbelief. That's it? There's got to be more to the story than that. Dylan shrugged, his smile turning dreamy. I don't know. It all feels a little surreal, to be honest. I never thought someone like Alex would ever be interested in someone like me. Juniper's expression turned fierce. Don't you dare sell yourself short, Dylan. You're an incredible catch, and Alex would be lucky to have you. Dylan's heart swelled with gratitude, and he felt a rush of affection for the girl beside him. Thanks, Juniper. I don't know what I did to deserve a friend like you, but I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Juniper grinned, her eyes sparkling with warmth. Right back at you, roomie. Now, let's get this place cleaned up so we can start planning your outfit for that big date. Dylan groaned, but he couldn't keep the smile from his face. Do we have to? Can't we just bask in the afterglow a little longer? Juniper shook her head, her expression mock stern. No can do, mister. If you're going to sweep Alex off his feet, you're going to need all the help you can get. And lucky for you, you've got me in your corner. Dylan laughed, his heart light and his spirit soaring. Lucky for me, indeed. Okay, boss, let's do this. Together, they set to work, tidying up the remnants of the party and chatting excitedly about the future. And as they worked, Dylan couldn't help but marvel at how much his life had changed in such a short time. Just a few months ago, he'd been living a lie, hiding his true self from the world and feeling like an outsider in his own skin. But now, thanks to Juniper and the incredible friends he'd made, he felt like he could finally breathe. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.